Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about some common day-to-day habits that people do all the time that are actually trauma responses. So after this video, you'll be able to identify them better in yourself and others and understand where they come from and what do they mean. So let's start with the first one. One is perfectionism. It might seem like a good thing to always try to achieve perfection and to do things the right way, to always have a plan, and so on. But people that are perfectionists are actually people that procrastinate a lot. They don't want to start something or delay presenting a project or starting a business because they wait for everything to be perfect. So it actually stops you from acting. They have immense anxiety and actually low self-worth. Perfectionists usually grow up in households where they're either criticized or they aren't allowed to make mistakes. So if you go back to high school, you weren't encouraged to make mistakes, right? If you go back to middle school, high school, primary school, when you made a mistake as a kid, you were probably scolded, you were probably punished. And this is a big mistake that parents make, that the educational system makes. They don't encourage making mistakes. And this creates people that are scared to act. They're scared to take risks. They're scared to do anything because it might not be perfect and they will be punished and their self-worth will go down if they don't maintain this identity of the perfect human being. If you resonate with this, then it's really important that you actually start putting yourself in situations where you make mistakes. You start intentionally making mistakes, doing errors, so you teach your brain that it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay not to be perfect, and your self-worth stays exactly the same. And trust me, your life will be so much easier and so much better, and you'll stop procrastinating, doing things, starting things because you don't think they're good enough or you're good enough. It's not true. Your brain is lying to you, and it's actually a trauma response from your childhood. You are allowed to make mistakes. Remember that. The second trauma response is walking away or cutting people off at the smallest mistake. You might be thinking that, oh no, I'm setting boundaries, I'm not letting people cross me, I'm not letting anyone not treat me right. But actually, if you do this at the smallest mistakes, it's actually a protection mechanism that is extremely unhealthy and can potentially destroy your relationships. This usually happens because you have the need to control the situation because you don't want to get hurt. And when you feel like you're losing control over the situation, over how you're feeling, and you feel like someone else is in control of your feelings, you feel the need to take action quick, to block them, to cut them off, to do something so you regain control. But this is a false sense of control, and you might regret your decision very soon after you actually make it. So try to slow down a little bit before you cut someone off, before you make a drastic decision like this. Slow down and actually think a little bit more, question whether you're making the decision out of a trauma response or out of a healed place. Number 3 is constant emotional monitoring. You're constantly sensing what other people are feeling, if there are any subtle changes in facial expressions, in mood. And for instance, let's say you're talking to a friend and they sigh, they go like, your mind goes straight into overanalyzing, into thinking, oh, did I offend them? What did I say? Are they mad? Are they upset? Are they gonna leave me? Are they gonna stop being my friend? And you're constantly like super hyper vigilant. This is a trauma response that comes from your childhood. If you grew up in an environment where your parents were maybe unpredictable or chaotic. You never know what to expect. You never knew what to expect. So you learn to anticipate any reaction so you can protect yourself, basically. It's important to remember that now you're not a little child that's helpless anymore. You are an adult, and as an adult, you are not responsible for other people's emotions. No one can hurt you the same way you were hurt in your childhood. You are not emotionally dependent on anyone else like you were as a kid. So even if someone is upset with you, you can live with that. Even if it doesn't feel like it, you can handle it and you can live with that. And it's not your job to guess what someone else is feeling or thinking. It is their responsibility to take accountability for what they're feeling and to express it. If they're upset with you, to communicate this with you. And you have the exact same responsibility. If you're upset with someone, you shouldn't expect them to read your mind. You should actually express how you feel. That is being emotionally mature. Fourth trauma response is constantly keeping busy. You're constantly doing something. You're at the gym, at the dance class, working, studying, learning a new language, going out with friends, getting drunk, and so on. This is because you don't want to be by yourself with your own feelings. You can't tolerate your own presence, being alone, or any thoughts or feelings that happen when you are in your own presence or alone. So you might even be scared to be alone at night, for instance, when you're falling asleep and all the thoughts and emotions from that day start coming up. So you distract yourself by staying on your phone till late or anything like that. It's normal if you've gone through trauma, if you are dealing with certain emotions like being depressed or anger or resentment or anything like that. But it's important to understand that your feelings, they cannot hurt you. You can handle your feelings, okay? If you can't, you should talk to a therapist or someone that's specialized. But in most cases, it's only unique cases where that happens. In most cases, you can handle it. And feelings come and go. The faster you process them, the faster you confront them, you deal with your thoughts and your feelings, the faster they go away and you can actually be at peace with yourself. The best thing you can do for yourself is to stop running away, is to confront whatever is happening. And 5 is people pleasing. I want to highlight that people pleasing is not the same as being nice or being kind. People pleasing is doing something that you think is expected of you despite you not wanting to do that thing. So someone asks you to do them a favor and you say yes, not because you want to do it or out of the kindness of your heart, but because you're scared of upsetting them, you're scared that if you say no, they're not going to like you anymore, and so on. This happens to people that maybe grew up in a home where their own boundaries weren't respected, where they weren't allowed to say no, that were made to do things even though they didn't want to, and they were told, be nice, go hug your grandma, uncle, even if you don't want to, it doesn't matter how you feel, you should do that. The problem is that this creates a lot of resentment inside yourself and your relationships, and you might actually end up cutting that person off from your life, even though they didn't do anything wrong. And a true, authentic, healthy relationship requires you to be true to yourself, to put yourself first. Remember, it's okay to say no. People are not going to dislike you if you say no. And if they do, then it's better if that person walks away from your life. Thank you for listening to me and this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments and write any future suggestions for my next videos. Comment down below. Bye.